Hello, and welcome to Appleton Engaged. I'm your host, Timber Smith, DEI coordinator for the city of Appleton.
And I'm Andy Anam, the communications manager for the city.
Appleton Engaged is a podcast that explores the many people, organizations, and resources that make our community a great place to live, work, and play. So whether you're a longtime resident or just getting to know Appleton, join us as we learn more about our community together.
Today's organization is actually a national organization with a localized chapter in Appleton, which empower women voices and have a very positive impact on how women get their voices heard.
I'm excited about this episode because I'm here to learn today. I've been seeing this organization pop up at various events, and I'm like, oh, okay, what are they about? So I'm super excited about this conversation. I am here to learn today. So this week's guests are Lindsay Prall, Director of Communications for NOW, National Organization for Women, and Irene Strohbeen, the Acting President for NOW. Hello, Lindsay. Hello, Irene. How are you doing?
Hey, good.
Wonderful.
How are you?
Good to be here.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so let's jump in. And the first question always is this: can you please share a little something about yourself and your connection to Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region?
All right. My name is Lindsay Prall. I am the Director of Communications and Marketing for Appleton area now. I am from the Green Bay area, but I am a part of Appleton area now, so I'm getting more involved with the community here. I'm very involved within the Green Bay community as well. And I also used to work in Appleton, so I commuted down here for 8 years. So I'm pretty familiar with the area and my way around here. And then I came across actually Appleton area now on Facebook. So I was looking for an event for another organization to attend a fundraising event for them. And then I happened to come across Appleton area now's Facebook page, and I was so excited to see it. So I ended up actually going to the first organizing meeting, and it was just amazing with what our founding mothers had come up with, and I have been involved ever since.
Yeah, so this is Irene Strohbeen, acting president. Lindsay joined our board almost right away, second meeting, and we were thrilled to have her. So I've been here in Appleton or in the surrounding areas of Appleton for a long time. I first came to Appleton when I matriculated at Lawrence University, 1974. I graduated in 4 years. I went away for grad school for 2 years, and I ended up being hired by Kimberly-Clark as an entry-level scientist in 1980. So my husband and I got married right before we started working, got an apartment at the south side of Appleton, bought a house right off of Memorial Drive, and then 8 years later moved out to what is now the village of Harrison. But we've been in the area since 1980 as residents. We have a Menasha mailing address, but I still consider Appleton to be my home. If people ask me where I'm from, it's Appleton, 30 miles south of Green Bay. But, I mean, my connections are absolutely here.
Love that. Okay, now down to the real business at hand, and that is this. Can you please share about your resource?
We are the local chapter of the National Organization for Women. We are intentionally called Appleton area because, of course, nothing is just Appleton here. It's the whole Fox Cities. But because we're the only chapter in the state of Wisconsin, we are finding Appleton area right now extends beyond Green Bay and beyond Oshkosh to the lakeshore to Wapaka. It's absolutely northeast Wisconsin right now. NOW is an organization that has its roots way back, in the early years of the women's movement. It was founded in 1966. But when I was a young woman growing up in the 1970s, everybody heard about NOW because that was the organization fighting for women's rights and really advocating for the Equal Rights Amendment, which, by the way, is not part of the Constitution still. And so they are still fighting for the Equal Rights Amendment, which is kind of sad. Now is the largest intersectional, grassroots, feminist, activist organization in the country. And each of those words is really important, including largest, but we're obviously an organization of feminists. It's very intersectional. We recognize it's the complications when you throw in race and gender identities, sexual orientation into the mix. But there's just so much work to do around women's rights right now. So have 6 core issues that are called out by the national organization, but it's very holistic and very complete. So do you want to cover those, Lindsay?
Yeah, yep, definitely. So we have 6 core issues, as Irene mentioned. So the first one is reproductive rights and freedoms, and that's one of the top areas that we're concerned about at this time. Of course, we're concerned about all of them. Another one would be constitutional equality, economic justice, ending violence against women, racial justice, and also rights for the LGBTQIA plus community. So then right now we're focusing on, for sure, the reproductive rights and freedoms as well as the constitutional equality.
So we're very attuned to what our members want.
Yep.
Our very first meeting was an introduction to now, but then we had the 70-some people that were there talk about what are they interested in, and it is an activist organization, so what actions should we take? What should we focus on? And reproductive rights just kept bubbling up.
Yep.
They kept talking about, let's do a protest, let's do a march, let's do something. And that led to our very first action, which was our march and rally in late June?
Yep, it was June 23rd.
Coinciding with the 2nd anniversary of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade.
Now, one thing that we talked about right off the bat, or we had an opportunity, was you let me know that NOW is actually a nonpartisan organization, though.
Correct.
And so, and the other thing I would want to know is, like, right now, what made the members decide that they needed a NOW chapter? What was the bubbling thing that said, hey, we need to exist? Because NOW is pretty new to the region, if I'm correct,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
That was my question too.
So there are 4 of us that, well, I call us the founding moms, or the founding mothers, but the founding moms. And I will have to say that the thought behind NOW had been bubbling amongst us for probably a year, maybe more. The real beginnings of the organization, or not now, but the beginnings of the organizing, I should say, locally, really came out of the Legislative Committee for Midday Women's Alliance, which is a business women's group based here in Appleton. But there was a core group of 6 to 8 of us in the Legislative Committee that were really focused on, well, our legislative platform, learning about the Equal Rights Amendment, advocating for equal pay for women, eliminating violence against women, everything really that was in the NOW platform, aside from racial and LGBTQ rights. And so it was natural for us to want to just focus on that. Let's kind of move away from the business side, and let's just focus on what we need to do just in the area of women's rights and social justice, really. And so we had to do quite a bit of research to figure out how to get started, in terms of the IRS and connecting to the national organization. But once we got it figured out, we started meeting in April, and it's been, kind of this great growth curve ever since.
How many local members do you have approximately right now? And also, do you know how many members are in the national organization overall? Because if it's been around for this long, it seems like there's probably a huge membership in NOW.
Yeah, so our current local membership is, after just like 3 months, around 75, which we are really happy with.
Yep.
I'm afraid, and several people have asked me about the nationwide membership, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't know and I haven't looked it up, but it is probably in the tens of thousands.
Okay.
It is absolutely nationwide, and they keep saying it's the largest organization of its kind. So
So I want to bring you back to the word you use, feminist. Normally, people have given a negative reputation to feminist and activist, though they could mean so much different than what exactly it's perceived. So how now defines feminism, and like when you ask women to come and join, like what are they looking at from the feminist perspective? What they have to gain from the organization? And when you talk about activism, I remember you said, Andy, mostly it's very peaceful. People just join and just talk about the issues that matter the most. So if you can just put some light on those areas.
great questions.
That is a great question. I think overall with this organization, it's a matter of educating ourselves. And then that way we're able to take action. Like, for instance, we're still angry about the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And the best thing you can do is keep fighting and just going out there. And I always say I'm all about, and I definitely don't have issues calling myself a feminist or an activist. And I started off getting involved overall as right when Roe v. Wade was overturned, I was angry about it and I wanted to go do something about it. So I ended up getting involved with my local county political party, and I'm still involved there. I'm on admin council. I'm also a staging location director for the election. And then I'm also involved with now. So pretty much my free time, I work full 40 hours a week as well. But my free time pretty much is fighting for social justice. And I feel like the best thing you can do is turning that anger into action, getting out there and doing something about that. And that's what we're doing. And, we did the march and that was successful. We've had so many people that showed up to march with us. They showed up at Houdini Plaza. And every time I go on to especially our Facebook page, we have so much love and support. I keep seeing we get more and more people following us, and it just keeps growing, and it's absolutely an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, we love seeing the growth. So, Andy, you asked about, what's the definition of a feminist? And I am going to kind of duck that question and say, I think each of us maybe has a different definition.
Yeah.
But I think the core is that we support women's rights.
Yes.
Right.
And we support each other, as Lindsay was saying. We kind of emphasize that it's the national organization for women, not of women, because there are feminists of all genders,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So it's not just women.
That is so true.
Men are feminists, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure you're a feminist, Timber.
Yes.
Just say yes. That's why we're here.
You know what that felt like? That just felt like one of those questions my wife asked me, and I didn't know if I should say yes or no, because I just felt like no matter what I said, I was going to get in trouble.
Well, I almost didn't ask because, how could you say no?
Yeah.
But I know you, Timber.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
So I want to insert, because Lindsay kind of touched on it. So we came up with this kind of saying back when we were the legislative committee. And at that time, we were very focused on education because we felt that was all we had the license to do, was to educate ourselves. The membership was not very interested in action. And now we're all about action, right? So it's a 4-step process. You get educated. Education causes you to get angry about what the situation is or how we're being treated. That's a very feminist kind of reaction. Then that causes you to take action, which is how we make change.
Right.
A question we always like to ask guests is there any misconceptions or myths that people might have about now?
Oh, yeah. Well, back in the 70s, feminists did not have a good reputation. Now, probably, because it was seen as that radical, angry
Exactly.
women organization,
Yeah.
right? So when you say feminists or feminism might have a bad rap, I think it goes back to that.
Oh, absolutely. It does like loud voices, but these powerful voices are voices of opinion, and that's why I want to know more about what now does for marginalized section, because you talked about intersectionality. So what kind of issues you see other than the broader issues of reproductive rights, but on the ground level, when you speak to women and women from different backgrounds, what are other day-to-day issues you see which need some sort of voicing?
Well, as Lindsay said, that's why we're starting by focusing on what we think are the most urgent of our 6 issues: reproductive rights and constitutional equality, in other words, the Equal Rights Amendment. But, I mean, Lindsay talked about how she kind of came into the movement. I've been part of the movement really almost since day one. I mean, I went to college in chemistry. There were, we were discriminated against. There were 3 of us women that were majoring in chemistry, and, we weren't treated well by the professors. I've said this before, so this should not be a surprise to my friends at Lawrence University. When I started working at Kimberly-Clark, I was the third woman scientist hired there, but the first that was not a specialist like in the microbiology lab or something like that. So actually, I have to admit, I was so naive at the time, I didn't know how I was being discriminated against. But reflecting back, there were many times that I was missed for this or that, passed over, required to, check more boxes than other people. Was it, I know it was because of my gender. How much was because of my race? It's impossible to know. So we are actually just at the beginning of reaching out to other organizations where we can bring in voices of women in marginalized segments of our community. The one partnership we know that we'll be focusing on is the Delta Sigma Theta sorority. I've already reached out to the new president several times, and our friend Karen Nelson is going to be helping us also. So,
Hey, shout out to the Deltas.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So my question is, like, what kind of educational programs does the local chapter run? Is it like you do some kind of monthly sitting, because you talked about the educational outreach? So how you do those, like by Zoom, virtual, remote? I mean, how you facilitate those conversations?
Yeah, very good question. So we have a mixture of both in-person organizing meetings, and then also last month we had by Zoom, and that's kind of nice because it gives people like a chance I think we had people from Madison join us.
We had people from around the country.
So that's kind of nice having it by Zoom, because then it's people that live outside of the area. And then this month we're going to be having it in Oshkosh at Oshkosh Co-op. And then we plan on having it at Green Bay in September. So I'm like, I don't have to travel as far. So that's nice. But we focus on different topics. And especially for this month, we're going to be focusing on Project 2025 and how that impacts women's rights and freedoms. So we're going to be educating ourselves on that. And then we're basically going to be gearing for our GOTV. So we're going to be educating ourselves to be going out and taking further action.
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this a couple of times now. How big is the outreach right now as far as regionally? I know that sounds like there's definitely here in the Appleton and the surrounding Fox Cities region, and it sounds like there's some outreach in Oshkosh. And because you are here, there's definitely outreach up in Green Bay. What is the footprint, and what is the current footprint in total, and what do you hope it to become as a whole?
Our true wish is to bring back a healthy scattering of now chapters, local now chapters throughout the state, and one state chapter, because that's the way it should be. There used to be a local chapter in Green Bay. It folded, I think, she told me, I don't remember, I think maybe right around the year 2000, perhaps. There was a local chapter here in Appleton previously. I think there might have been one at the Lakeshore, Madison, Milwaukee for sure. I'd love to see that come back because it is hard for people to, it's Green Bay people traveling to Oshkosh for a hour and a half meeting after dinner. That you have to be really dedicated to do that. And that's why we're going to be starting to live stream our meetings, right, Lindsay?
Yes.
Lindsay's got all that.
Yes, yep. We're going to be doing some Facebook Live or talking about for the next meeting. And that way, if people can't make it, or if they don't live within the area, they can kind of see with what we're doing and stay informed as to the action that we're taking.
Yeah, so we're really evolving to, as I mentioned a minute ago, this is a 90-minute meeting. We're evolving to the first, maybe 1/3, maybe half, but definitely 1/3 is educational. And then we want to provide some kind of more action-related something for our members and followers. So that's what we'll be doing in Oshkosh. That's kind of the mode of all the meetings we've had so far. So that's kind of hard to watch on live stream, but at least the educational portion should be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Now that brings to my next question. Can you share a story that shows the impact of the organization or any kind of success story you have?
Oh, wow. I absolutely think the march and rally against overturning Roe v. Wade was a wild success. It was, we started planning it right after the first meeting, and we had a second organizing meeting just to start getting prepared for it. So we were so early, like less than 2 months in existence, and we were blown away with the success.
I came on board beginning of June, so I wasn't there from the start, but I think altogether we got this prepared within about a month, which is amazing with everything, with contacting the city and then planning the route of where we're going and the chants. So that it turned out amazing. That's probably the best march, and I've been to marches before. That's probably the best march that I've been a part of.
Wow. So, thank you. I didn't know that. She's never told us that.
I did not.
Keeping it to herself. But we had, I think we counted over 80 at, where did we start? Pierce Park.
Yep.
As we were getting ready for the march. And not all of them marched. Some of them drove. But the march itself, we probably had 60 to 70 people. Mm-hmm. We had 125 at the rally at Houdini Plaza.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
We had a lineup of speakers. It was perfect weather. It was fabulous. Like I said, we were blown away.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any upcoming events or initiatives or engagement opportunities?
Oh, yes. We have got a lot. We are going to be everywhere pretty much coming up. So like I did mention, starting on August 21st, we have our monthly organizing meeting. That's going to be at 6 o'clock at Oshkosh Co-op, and that's going to be an hour and a half, so 6 to 7:30. And then we are also going to be at Women's Equality Day at the Appleton Farmers Market. That is August 24th. And then we are going to be at a couple different places on September 14th. So we're going to be at the Intertribal Powwow in Neenah, and then also Dragon Fest in Oshkosh. And then we are going to be at Rhythms of the World at the Appleton's Farmers Market on September 21st.
Yeah, she meant the Dragon Boat Festival in Oshkosh. That's just a very busy day on September 14th.
Oh, yeah, I will be there.
Sweet. You'll have to say hi.
That depends if I'm rowing or not.
Oh, no. You don't row the whole afternoon. I know that. So.
I don't know which one I'm going to be at, but I know I'm going to be at one of those that day. So we'll find out if I'm in Neenah or Oshkosh, wherever I'm needed.
I'll be in Oshkosh, so come see us. We have a purple tent.
Oh, okay.
So look for the purple tent.
Look for the purple
Yep, so you'll be able to
tent.
find us and say hi.
We just did in Menasha too. We were in the block party.
Oh, so the first two tabling events we had were great learning experiences for us. So the first one was at Juneteenth,
Yeah.
which was great. It was
That was
fun,
amazing.
But we've added so much since then because we've learned. So the last one was the You Belong block party, which was phenomenal. It was wonderful seeing our community come together like that. But because we were asked to have a game, a children's game, so we added the game, but then expanded it to include adults, and now we have a quiz about women's rights.
Oh,
that
Interesting.
can challenge those who haven't studied it and even those who have. So that's a lot of fun.
I accept the challenge. Timber the feminist accepts the challenge.
We'll hold you to
Yes.
it. We'll look for you.
What are the ways the community can be helpful? And you said, like, it's we know this organization is for women, and we talked about men feminists too. So can they join, or is there any way everybody can be part of the organization?
Oh, yes. I feel like this organization is for everybody because we have so many core issues that I think everyone is able to relate and find something that they are concerned about as well. And there's so many opportunities to get involved with us. So even becoming a member, coming to visit us at events, or even tabling events, we need volunteers to help us table. And of course, it's a matter of, following us on our Facebook and Instagram pages, and that way staying tuned with where we're all going to be and then what people can do to help us.
And I will just add that, of course, we value our members highly,
Yes.
but we would never turn someone away because they're not a member. And we just want to be here to pull the voices together,
Yep.
to pull the feminists together, to pull people together who want to advocate for women's rights.
Yes.
So if you're not a member, that doesn't matter. You can still volunteer.
Oh, yeah.
You can still come to our meetings. We won't ask you if you're a member or not. Our members support us financially. We're a nonprofit and a very new one.
Yep.
That's why the dollars are important to us, because otherwise we couldn't be doing what we're doing. We couldn't, pay for the permit from the city to have the march and things like that.
Yep.
Or to table, for nonprofits, money helps to make things happen, but we need people too.
Yep.
So just come and check us out.
Well, since you've brought that up,
Money?
let's just money.
Hey.
Let's just ask: is there anything the community can do to be helpful?
Well, several people have asked, do you have a website? Or more specifically, can we, register to be a member online? Can we find you on your website and learn about your events or whatever? That is a big gap right now. We don't have we have a website, but it has information about us, but it's not an interactive website that I believe would cost more. Yeah. So, yeah, you cannot make donations online. You cannot become a member online. I don't know what else you need a website for, but so we're kind of at a pause there, partly financial, but mostly we need the skills. We need somebody who has the time and talent to move us over to a platform that we've identified.
That's a call for action for many of our listeners. If you have a skill, IT skill, to help them set up the website, you know where to reach out. But back to my question, how can people contact you? You talked about the website part. Like, where can they know that these events are happening? So what's your channel of communication there?
Yeah, there's a couple different options. People can message us on Facebook, Instagram. We do have an email as well, which is appletonarea.now@gmail.com.
And what is the commitment to be a member? I heard that right now there seems like there's a membership fee. Can we share with the Appleton Engaged listeners about what is it? How do you become a member?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking, Timber. So the easiest way to become a member is to email us or come to one of our meetings. The membership fee is actually a sliding scale. The standard fee is $35, but there's a sliding scale. You can take it all the way down. Our lowest dues would be $10 a year. And of course, we have a 3-year membership for $95. What we prefer is that you join at whatever level it makes sense for you financially, and then consider making donations at the same time or in the future.
All right. At this time, is there anything that you would like to share with the Appleton Engaged listeners that maybe we didn't ask a question about?
There's a pause.
I know. I'm trying to think. Main thing is letting people know where we're at so they can come support, visit us and how to get in contact with us, our issues.
So all of our 6 core issues are very important to us. Lindsay
Yes.
has said that earlier.
Yes.
We have them kind of in priority order, partly based on what our members are telling us, members and followers, it's not just our members, but also kind of based on our experiences and what we would like to see.
Yes.
So we have actually partly prioritized reproductive rights because of what's going on in the world, but also because the next issue, constitutional equality, is a little bit on hold in the state. There are things going on at the federal level. For example, whenever we have a meeting, we have a petition going on to collect signatures to go to Washington, D.C., to tell Congress we want to have this be published as part of the U.S. Constitution. But there's also a state ERA that has been proposed in Madison, I think 3 times now. It has not gotten a lot of attention, but with now here, we are planning to make noise in 2025 about the Wisconsin ERA. And you had asked earlier about what kinds of action we might take. The march and rally are great examples, but other actions might be as simple as sometimes it's not that simple, but writing postcards to our elected representatives to tell them what we want, right? So when the new legislature is sworn in January, we might start taking action right away, even before the ERA bill is introduced. We'll see. It depends on how much energy there is, but that's one we really want to take action on. And then because of what all of us experience, but my history, economic justice and equal pay for women and how
Yes.
women are treated in the workforce, that's another big area. So there's so much work to do. That's what I don't like to say it. I often say there's so much work to do.
There is.
That's a lot of work to do, and these are broad issues which affect women every day.
Yes.
So now's the time to shout out. You have to send some strong shout out to our women friends.
Absolutely. I have to give a wildly energetic shout out to my other founding moms.
Yes.
And they are Sandy Rohde, Becca Linekin, and Jean Roberts. You know Jean. The 4 of us spent a lot of time together. The founding mothers, and we were the original board. And because there was no one else, we met at least once a week to get all this done. And I just insisted starting, I think, in July, we're not going to meet once a week anymore. So it's hard to back off to once a month, but that's where we are. Our other board members are Lindsay, Marie Niesman, and we have a brand new board member, my dear friend, Diane Rotier. And so now, actually, Jean had to leave the board, but we have 6 strong women, leading the organization right now.
And I think we have opportunities, too, for some more board positions if anyone's interested.
And I think a lot of people don't know how important the board is. So because of the way the organization is structured and my preference of, collaborating, the board really sets the direction and the plans for the organization. So taking a board position just gives you the ability to be part of that in-group setting the direction.
All right. So we've got Irene's shout outs. Lindsay?
Those are my shout outs as well. So
Okay.
got to shout out the founding mothers and board members. So
And we've had some volunteers.
yes. And I would say all of our supporters as well. We've had a lot of people that come to the events, they help out, they volunteer, and then they show up as well, and they're active on our social media pages. So there's a lot of people that we appreciate.
And
wanna
we
thank.
have a handful of very generous donors that helped us way at the beginning. I'm sure we would not be where we are today if they had not been so generous. And they continue to donate. And I'm not going to mention their names here, but hopefully they'll find this podcast and know that we are very grateful to them.
Well, at this time, we're just going to say, Lindsay and Irene, thank you. We're going to start wrapping up this episode. Appleton Engaged listeners, thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for caring about another amazing resource in our city, making this a better place. You know, we are an amazing community, and what makes us amazing is all of these resources that are here for all of us to be energized by or to be engaged by, to help create a culture of belonging and inclusion. You know, we've got a mission of our own. We're trying to become the #1 podcast in Northeast Wisconsin, and we can't do it by ourselves. We need your help to be able to do that. So what does that look like? Well, you know, maybe you would like to be a guest. Maybe you'd like to recommend a guest. Maybe you would like some different questions on the show, or you've got ideas for segments. Well, no matter what it is, please feel free to reach out to us at diversity@appleton.org. Once again, that's diversity@appleton.org. Also, we think we have something very special here with the Appleton Engaged podcast, something that's making our community a better place and informing our community. We think if more people knew about it, more ears were able to hear it, it helps to make our community better. And how do we do that? Well, it's called analytics. So what I need you to do is, while you're listening to us right now, hit the ratings button, preferably 5 stars, not 4 stars. Give us the 5 stars. Or if you've got a few more minutes, just go ahead and fill out a full review and let us know how we're doing here on Appleton Engaged. These things increase our analytics, and the better our analytics, the more eyes and ears get to learn about this amazing resource known as Appleton Engaged.
Thank you, both of you, for sharing these insights. And I'll ask our listeners to go and check the website up now and see the ways they can get involved. And let's continue the conversation for the good. Until next time, stay thoughtful, stay curious, and stay engaged.